Today in our Clay 101 video, we are going to talk about chalks and how to apply them to our clay and what to apply them with. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this is to do. Alright, when I talk about chalk for our clay projects, I'm referring to these soft pastels you get in the like in the craft store where they have things for drawing, for artists that draw. These are the soft pastels that people use to draw with. And they're my preference, they're my go-to. This brand, Artist Loft, I believe is the Michael's store brand. You don't need really nice ones for this. We're not drawing with them. We're coloring chalk with them. Cheap ones work as well for what we're doing as the really expensive ones. I like this set because there's lots of colors. Some of these colors I've never touched, but they're here if I want them. Some of them I have almost used up. You usually see me use this yellow ochre whenever I do a baked good. Pardon my voice. It is spring. Pollen is thick. I'm not breathing, so excuse that if I sound nasty. I feel fine, I just can't talk. My voice keeps going in and out. But you just scrape these down and brush them on your clay. Once the clay is baked, they become a permanent part of your clay, as long as you've done it correctly. We also use them a lot when we're making fruits and vegetables, like apples. We don't start with red clay to make an apple, we start with white clay or an off-white. And we color it with either a green or a red or a yellow or usually a combination of colors, because that way it doesn't look so dense. So we are going to talk about how to apply the chalk today, some alternatives for chalk, what I do use to apply it, and some of the secrets to that. So let's just grab, I'm going to use a color I don't normally use. Let's use this blue one. I don't think I've ever had this one out of the package, because this is just a demo to show you how to do it. Alright, you need to get the chalk off of the stick. Generally I use a craft knife, which I did not remember to grab. You can also use your clay knife. Just be sure to use your clay knife to clean it really, really well before you cut clay with it. So you just scrape along the side of the chalk. That frees up some powder. It gets it down on your work tile or your work surface so that you can work with it. To apply it, these are both eyeshadow brushes that I picked up at Dollar Tree. I like these ones that are shaped like this. I don't remember what this is called. It just calls it an eyeshadow brush. A lot of people use a paintbrush. I prefer an eyeshadow brush because they're more designed to work with a powder than a paintbrush. A paintbrush is designed to work with a wet medium. These are designed to work with a powder. Consequently, they seem to work better for me. They're more densely packed, they're a better shape, and they're only $1 a piece. And if you take care of these, they'll last for a long, long time. Let's talk about taking care of the brushes, then we'll talk about applying the chalk. Between uses, after every time I've used my brushes, I take them to the sink and I wash them, squirt a little bit of liquid soap. Shampoo's best, but you can use any liquid soap. Palm of my hand, run the brush in it, and then rinse it out really well. And lay it flat to dry, especially if you can lay it so that the brush end is over the edge of a counter or your tile or something, so that the water drains out. You don't want to stand it on its bristles when it's wet. You'll bang it up, you'll bend it. And you don't want to store it like this when it's wet, because water will go down into the ferrule, it will loosen the bristles, and it'll shorten the life of your brush. Alright, we've got some chalk. This is just, or some clay. This is just some scrap clay I've rolled out. This is actually the same piece I used last week when we talked about texturing. Again, pardon me, I know I sound horrible today. You're going to dip your brush into your chalk. And by the way, you can mix colors of chalk. You can put down 2 or 3 colors and mix them together if you don't have the right color. Now I've got my brush loaded and I'm pushing down really hard. See how the bristles are spreading apart? And I'm going around and around in a circular motion. You can go back and forth too, but I like a circular motion. I'm burnishing the chalk into the clay, and I'm going to work until I've got an even coat, an even color. That's the thing I see the most when you guys share your photos with me of your projects and you've used chalk on it to color it, like on a bread. A couple of things happen. It gets really mottled. It's like you've gone like this, and you get really dark over here maybe, but you don't have any over here, and it's not smooth. That's one of the secrets. My brush is shedding today. That's okay. Just wipe the brush hairs off. You want to really work with the chalk until you get it nice and even. And I'm picking up texture here that I have left in my clay from before. It's actually kind of pretty. But you can build your color up by going back over the same spot again and again, and then buffing out to where it's blended. But keep working it until you get a nice even color. Now another thing you can use, both for special effects and also as chalk, sometimes you can find powdered eyeshadow that will work. These are all frost colors, and I use these a lot when I'm doing special effects. If you can find like our basic browns and yellows in eyeshadow that's not a shimmer, if it's a matte finish, you could use that just like you use chalk. Let me turn this over. I'm going to show you some real, whoops, that's from another project I was doing. But I did some fairy food one time using these, and they looked really neat because they have a glimmer to them, and they look really neat. You can do some really neat effects using eyeshadows, and these are from Dollar Tree. I love these for coloring clay. And there's a silver that would look really neat over a silver clay too. But these are really cool, and also we can use these on occasionally. I've got a food project coming up that we might actually use some shimmery colors for. But that's a lot of fun to use too. And that is gorgeous. I don't know if the camera's picking up the beautiful glow. It reminds me of a mermaid there. But these colors work too. You can use eyeshadows for this. I just wouldn't use them. You know, you got to make sure it's a matte finish if you're using it on most foods. There's some special effects you can do. But that is, in a nutshell, how to work with chalk and what to use for, you know, to put it on and what kind of chalk we're talking about. Just remember, just burnish it in. Really work it in. Push that brush. Make those bristles really splay out. That means you're really putting some pressure on. To clean up your tray when you're done, this is another reason I love my work tray. Love my ceramic tray for working on. Use a wet wipe to get that all wiped up. And be careful, you will have it all over your fingers too. You'll need to wash your hands really well and clean up between the parts of your project when you're chalking and the parts that you don't want chalk on. But that's it. So I hope you found this useful. Be sure to ask if you have any questions. And if there's some part of working with clay that you really want me to cover, be sure and ask, and I'll add it to the list of projects we're going to do. So thanks for watching. Be sure and check the Facebook page and the blog post, and I will talk to you later. Bye.